Over 60 years ago, in the 1960s, Nigeria's financial sector was still in its infancy. Amidst the post-independence wave of growth, Nigerian Acceptances Limited, or Now Bank, emerged as the nation's first merchant bank. This was a pivotal moment, laying the foundation for modern banking in Nigeria and setting the stage for decades of innovation. Fast forward to 2006. In response to the Nigerians' historic banking consolidation, Now Bank merged with 4 other institutions: Indo-Nigerian Merchant Bank, Magnum Trust Bank, NBM Bank, and Trust Bank of Africa. Together, they formed a single unified commercial bank and named it Sterling. From its pioneering beginnings to its transformation through collaboration, this is the story of a bank that continues to adapt, evolve, and lead. It's the story of Sterling Bank.
My name is Olayinka. I'm the Executive Director in charge of shared services at the Holdco. Sterling Bank started really in the 60s with a bank called Now Bank, and basically a merchant bank at that time. But obviously, as things started to emerge and as new players came on the space, they were obviously lagging behind.
So Sterling is a merger of 6 different banks. We like to tell the story as we were 5 banks that became one, and then we bought a new one, and then it became 6. But yeah, we're a merger of banks.
The only way that Now could necessarily survive was to find other players to come and join and combine business to be able to meet the capital requirement. And that was Now, NBM, Trust Bank, Magnum Trust, and Indo Merchant Bank. The 5 came together and became what we now know as Sterling Bank. There was an acquisition thereafter of ETB to kind of also deepen the retail banking play.
When you are a merger of banks, honestly, good luck, right? There's just so much going on. At the time those mergers happened, they may not have been mergers. It may have been that the banks died, right? But we found a way and we became a bank.
Virtually all the banks that were categorized as peers of Sterling Bank don't exist today. It was a very small organization that many people wouldn't give a chance to be where it is today.
When the next set of consolidation came again, it's like, are you guys going to make it? I'm like, of course. We'll just add this one. That makes us even bigger.
I'll say it's a story of resilience. It's a story of surviving.
Fundamentally, we're innovators. It was innovative to think that we're going to be able to bring this together and make it something.
In the banking sector, the weight of tradition often clashes with the speed of change. But sometimes, when the moment is right, tradition chooses to embrace innovation. This is the story of Sterling Bank. Its journey is not just one of rebranding or redesign, but of reinvention. It's about a bank that has dared to look beyond what is comfortable and ask, what if we could be more? While Abubakar Suleiman, the current CEO of Sterling Bank, leads this transformation, it is the collective effort of the team that brings it to life. The bank is rewriting the playbook, crafting solutions not just for its customers, but for the entire financial technology ecosystem in Nigeria.
Sterling had killed itself and was changing its skin and changing its beak and its claws.
Definitely, Sterling Bank offered a challenge that was different. It posed a challenge of someone wanting to be different from the normal.
If you go back into history, you can hardly point an old organization that transformed itself to an innovative, forward-looking institution.
The Sterling people see now and can talk about now is literally years and years of engineering and ensuring that that's what people can see.
It's been like a total transformation in terms of actually now setting the space in terms of what technology should be used for within banking.
Sterling is very bold and audacious.
Bold in the sense that every decision that Sterling has taken since 2017 has been very audacious. Part of we saying as a bank, what we want to do is to be the financial institution of choice and also the largest retail bank in Africa. I mean, those are very bold statements.
A bank that wanted to be different, a bank that wanted to own its own space, which evolved into the art strategy about basically being able to touch the social impact sectors of the economy, health, education, agri, renewable energy, and transportation.
You know, there's been resilience and survival in the past that brought this beautiful institution that's a mid-tier bank, that it could just stay as a mid-tier bank, and it's a successful case study. But now we want to tell the new story of a mid-tier bank that transformed itself to a top-tier financial institution across Africa. So it's going to be thriving. There's going to be a lot of blossoming in the next half year, which of course you're watching it all happen. It's like a prophecy that will happen. We've seen it, we know the story, and we know where it's going to end.
I could see the remarkable transformation in people. When the current CEO started out, he was very intentional about the fact that he wanted this place to be a great place to work. We were able to start to attract people we could never have attracted before.
Every successful organization rides on the back of its people. If you've checked in the last 5 years, Sterling has been the best place to work out of Nigeria. Listen, it took a real corporate transformation to see us grow from that draggy institution, that traditional institution, to an institution that even beats the tech startup in work culture, in employee satisfaction.
But even beyond that, the people I met here, just seeing that, they could, under the right kind of environment and direction, actually evolve to the kind of high-performing people that they are today, or innovative people and creative people that we are today, for me, it's been really, really fulfilling.
It opens up a whole set of opportunities for us, for employees to come up with ideas to solve people's problems. Leadership also plays a serious and a strong role in this aspect because they also encourage this. So there's opportunity here for everyone who comes in and is willing to and wants to do the best they can to impact lives.
Before COVID, we started this whole flex work arrangement that COVID helped us even entrench even further. If you look at most of the organizations, they've rolled back, but Sterling has kept this flex work situation, and we've even thrived in spite of the fact that people think that it doesn't work in this environment. So there are key milestones that we could talk about here, but the greatest one is the transformation of our people organization. And we know that since we could transform the people organization, then we can make anything happen.
When I joined, there was absolutely no digital footprint than ATM. But us then launching our own mobile apps, even launching USSD, because when I joined, there was no USSD solution in the bank.
I saw in Sterling an opportunity to make my experience, my drive for growth in Nigeria, for growth in Africa, begin to find expression.
When I joined, our reliability was in the 60s. I remember sitting in a couple of our management meetings and people talking about how they went to a couple of ATMs, they were all down, they couldn't dispense, and all of that. And so the big work we first did was about investing in infrastructure and building a business continuity strategy around that, and seeing our reliability shoot from a 60 gradually to the 80s and then the 90s.
The core of Sterling is reliable technology, and we realize this. That's why we're making all the investments and all the partnerships that would enable us get the technology that will support our scale and the kind of flexible service we want to offer to our client.
When I joined, we had made some investment in storage and compute infrastructure for our core banking, and that was sitting on what you call a risk technology. We were kind of almost boxed into IBM, and we wanted to liberate ourselves and just going through a replatforming project. That for me was another major milestone, because then we were able to start to put our core infrastructure, applications on cheaper compute and storage, significant savings that was for us as an institution.
So there is this strong shift from a very temporary mindset that the industry has, this very competitive mindset that it's in the entire industry, to a more collaborative mindset where we think, hey, we've got our uniqueness, we can thrive even in spite of anyone in the industry.
Our play has always been collaborate and compete. We're very heavy on corporate venturing, which also means that if we even nurture some of those new kid on the block, because that way you constantly are knowing what is hot out there.
Ask any of the fintechs, we're like their favorites. Like Sterling, they love us because we're not competing. We actually provide a platform for fintechs to grow.
So we've got a lot of partnerships with tech startups. We enable them, we open our offices for them to work from. We partner with them to solve the problems within Sterling.
Before a fintech goes somewhere else, the likelihood that they'll come here first is high, and we'll provide them everything that they need, from thinking as to what it is that they need to do, how they need to build, seed funding, to actually, almost like a sandbox. You can test with this. It's cool.
We're not scared when we see people do things. It no longer affects our strategy because we've tested in small areas that does it actually reward to follow what your core is all about. And in small areas, we've seen it happen. And we know that this ship is just about taking off. And we will never go back to short-term thinking. We will prove to the market that thinking long-term and thinking fundamental growth and impact is actually the most sustainable way to create alphas in a developing economy.
Sometime last year, many of Nigeria's largest banks faced the daunting task of upgrading their core banking systems. Not just for the banks, but for every customer who spent hours refreshing apps, waiting endlessly for successful transfers, or trying to track down their missing money. Now, with banking was largely replaced by digital platforms, these issues created waves of frustration online as customers searched for solutions and waited for resolutions of their complaints. For customers, these updates were far from seamless.
We had oscillated so long on the technology that we were using and whether we needed new technology, that when we finally did it, it showed us that we had capacity, right? And you could then start to build on that capacity.
I think there are two stories. There's a story of us believing in Africa and believing in Nigeria, and definitely, saddened by how much money leaves the shores of Nigeria just to pay for technology.
Sterling Bank is an African company, first a Nigerian company. Of course, if you're a Nigerian company, you're a major African player. We knew we had a challenge internally, and we've got all these tech partners and people we mentor around, and we said, hey guys, there is this problem and we want to solve it. And that's how SEBASS, the company, the product actually came about.
Sterling Bank is a very proud indigenous bank. We believe in building local solutions. Recently, we just launched our locally built core banking infrastructure or core banking application called SEBASS.
On our side, easily we spend between $4 to $6 million just for our core banking alone. Now, if we do 4 to 6 million, you can imagine what it is across the industry. So the belief of how do we liberate ourselves, emancipate ourselves, as it were, because it almost looks like this is second slavery.
Warfare is not just when people throw bombs around. If there are political differences between our country, between Africa and the West, they can easily cut off supply. They say, hey, you can't serve them again.
We like to be ahead of the curve. And so we want to be the pioneers of homegrown core banking solutions, right? And patronizing that.
We're competing with new kids on the block. All other solutions we saw that is out there, and these were all solutions built in the East in the 80s. Definitely these solutions have lacking things that makes them not to be able to compete. They're not built for the cloud. They can't do the kind of agility that is required to respond to customer expectation as easily as required. So I think those are two drivers for us to say, why not start afresh? And if you're going to start afresh, why not just do it local in such a way that you're not just playing lip service to the notion of being African and Nigerian first?
I hope that because we trust it and you can see our growth, other people will start to trust it.
Sterling Bank, with SEBASS, their newly launched core banking platform, they are rewriting the rules. SEBASS is designed not only to streamline their own operations, but to provide solutions for other financial institutions and fintech players across Nigeria. Sterling's approach goes beyond efficiency. They are betting on local innovation to drive the evolution of the modern financial landscape.
My name is Adedeji Olawe. I'm a director at Peerless. Peerless is a solution to a problem everybody thinks can be solved, right? If you look at modern banking, the banking we have today, even though it's modern, sits on old legacy technology. But the truth is we are seeing the seams breaking apart. But the question is, who is going to step forward and address the real issue? Why can't banks have modern software? And that is actually what Peerless has done, which is basically build a modern technology stack that can support any bank to a billion user scale easily. That's Peerless. So here's the thing in the market that everybody knows. If you want to go do anything innovative, just go to Sterling Bank. Well, it's easy to see from the marketing, from the technology, from the ideas, from the leadership. It's totally different, even from the processes. So if we are building SEBASS and we want to do it at scale, it's like you want to go to the moon with a rocket. Who do we go with? You go with the people who appreciate the fact that going to the moon is the next natural phase of evolution. The speed of how they could connect into the vision, how they could understand the problem to be solved. You could see deep intellect at work. You could see openness, humility, and the drive for execution and excellence. SEBASS being the one powering Sterling now, it's not a revelation, it's a revalidation of what everybody already knows. When you change your core banking, right, it's like you're having a heart transplant. So when somebody trusts your software to be the new heart of his body, that's the biggest trust. It shows how much belief that Sterling has in the Nigerian technology promise. So it means that with that kind of support, right, Sterling is telling the whole world that we're able to they can back any Nigerian tech company who has global aspirations, who want to do amazing things to the world. So the thing is that if you've been in banking, I was in banking for a long time before I left, is we use a particular type of technologies that we call a monolith. So you got these mainframes of databases and call applications, and you just throw more memories at them. And these things are very expensive, which makes banking difficult. Every time you want to grow, you have to spend millions of dollars to bring in new hardware to be able to scale up. SEBASS has literally bring the likes of technology you get at Google, Facebook, WhatsApp to banking. So it means that as the bank grows, the bank can just grow effortlessly, seamlessly. Even when the bank goes 10x its size, the speed probably will get better. This is literally way ahead of its competition everywhere.
Sterling Bank's digital transformation focuses on making banking accessible to everyone, from entrepreneurs to rural farmers. Initiatives like Spectre are redefining access to credit. While other banks consider microloans risky, Spectre provides instant loans with minimum paperwork. It is banking designed for the realities of Nigerian life, quick, efficient, and inclusive. Another hallmark of Sterling's inclusive local strategy is AFRIGO, a NIBS initiative aimed at reducing the cost of transactions across the country. For Sterling, technology isn't just a tool, it's a means to empower people and bridge gaps in financial access.
Industries are meant to empower a country to be self-sufficient. Simple things like the technology that you're going to use in your financial system, I don't see why you can't adapt local homegrown solutions to the global world.
It's not that we're not interested in the globe. We're really interested in the globe, but we want to enable our own, hold their own.
What that means is that anything that is locally built, we are always embracing it, and that's why we have embraced AFRIGO so much. AFRIGO is Nigerian's first local card payment scheme.
Sterling is like the biggest backer of AFRIGO. That's the first time Nigeria is trying to have a national card scheme.
What that means is that we do not necessarily need to rely on the likes of, MasterCard, Visa, to actually get card payments done. This is a proud thing for us in Nigeria and in Sterling because AFRIGO was launched by the CBN in collaboration with NIBS.
We're local boys in Sterling, and we try to show the world that local can work and local can compete.
This will help the industry in three major ways. It will help the industry to reduce FX costs, drive financial inclusion, and then the last one is to help the industry, develop a very robust payment infrastructure. On the immediate, we want to issue as much as 1 million AFRIGO cards. Sterling Bank is probably the #1 bank right now in terms of issuance. What we're trying to do is to focus on our mass market segment. And our mass market segment are customers that are highly unbanked or underbanked and are financially excluded.
AFRIGO is not a class thing, it's for everyone. We expect that people that haven't touched cards before will begin to use AFRIGO card. We expect the kids growing up will grow up having AFRIGO as their first card as kids under 18 years.
We've said before the end of this year, we're going to give out as high as 100,000 free AFRIGO card, because we believe that by the time the card grows to the level that we envisage as a bank, it's going to impact not just us, but even the lives of people out there that are highly underbanked or financially excluded.
It's a very crowded marketplace, okay? There are 1,001 organizations that can do or will offer services similar to what Sterling is offering, okay? What differentiates us is the story we tell. What differentiates us is how the kind of experiences we create for our customers. While everyone was still going ahead in terms of offering credit to customers, while everyone was still going ahead with the usual process of filling in plenty forms and all of that, we came up with the audacious and bold goal of saying that we will do all of that for you in 5 minutes. Respect that.
In as much as Sterling is doing a lot, we are also careful to ensure that our customers, who are the main stakeholders in all this equation, are happy at the end of the day with excellent service delivery across all touch points.
The thing that propelled us the most into this, our technology foray, we'd always wanted to use technology, but we thought, oh, well, since the technology exists, we'll just buy. And every time we bought, it lacked something. And that something is really in that one customer bank. I want to be able to do this for this person, but this system doesn't allow me to do it. So am I now going to buy 15 systems for this one person?
A lot of people don't get to understand what it actually means. Prior to 2019, the narrative or the slogan was the one customer bank. And during our rebranding, we personalized it and we changed it from the one customer bank to your one customer bank. And that was part of how we wanted to personalize our conversation with our customers.
It kind of sounds silly, but then when you understand what it is that it's saying, it's also very endearing, right? I want to be able to personalize services for you, right? So I treat you as though you are the only one.
So we are taking a decision. It's about how does it touch on our customer? Does it make the life of our customers better? How our customer experiencing our product, our banking, any service at all that we're putting on the table. Even when they call this contact center, or when they go into our branches, or when they're interacting with us, is that for everything we're giving to them, they see themselves in the product and they're part of us. Because the only reason we're in business is the customer.
I like to paint this as a picture. So think of that one customer standing on one side and think of the entire bank on this other side, okay? Think of it as a picture now, and we're at your service. Whatever you need, we're ready to. The entire bank is behind that one person. And think of the fact that we're not just behind that one customer that way, we're behind all of our customers in the same way. It sounds impossible, but it's the whole idea of hyper-personalization.
I think a lot of people say that, but not a lot of people can actually do it.
So banking with Sterling means that we will treat you with the importance that you deserve. And so the rebranding exercise in 2019 was where we gave birth to the Sterling that you now know.
I joined an organization that knew where it wanted to go to, but realized that it wouldn't get to where it wanted to go to if it didn't kill the old organization.
So definitely a more diversified business, a business that definitely touches a lot more Nigerians. So in the double digits. Millions of Nigerians are doing business with us, for sure, and definitely a business that is a destination for capital, meaning people want to put money here because the return that they get on their investment or on their equity is tidy and definitely something of reference point in the industry.
I think we know ourselves. We are Sterling. We know our market. We have a clear understanding of what the market entails. What is most important to us is that we keep reinventing ourselves. We're very innovative driven, and I think by and large we continue to do those innovations.
Because we're completely pro-Nigeria, believe in the Nigerian project, and believe that Nigeria, at some point, all of you people that are jackpotting will be coming back, okay? And Sterling is at the forefront of making that happen.
If you look at our pillars, our strategic pillars, for instance, it talks about agility, digitization, and specialization. Those three things were not just by accident, they were carefully looked at in terms of what defines what we do.
And if I talk about Sterling going into the future, it's an organization that will now thrive. You know, there's been resilience and survival in the past that brought this beautiful institution that's a mid-tier bank, that it could just stay as a mid-tier bank and it's a successful case study. But now we're beginning to tell the new story of a mid-tier bank that transformed itself to a top-tier financial institution across Africa. So it's going to be thriving. There's going to be a lot of blossoming in the next half year, which of course you're watching it all happen. It's like a prophecy that will happen. We've seen it, we know the story, and we know where it's going to end.
What lies ahead of Sterling Bank? If history is any guide, it's a future built on purpose and progress. Sterling's growth isn't just about digital transformation. It's about what happens when a bank dares to think bigger and challenge the norm. It's about a bank that doesn't just want to be part of the future, it wants to build it. This is more than a new chapter for Sterling Bank. It's quite possibly a new era for Nigerian banking, an era defined by innovation and driven by local talent. This is the future of banking.